Hi, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Here we are back at it just to give you a quick roundup about what's going on immigration and education. But before we get into it, Jose,
Yep.
what? Like, the world is a scary place. It's
I know what you're talking
unpredictable.
about.
It's very
amazing,
uncertain.
stable. What are you talking about?
It gives me anxiety, low key. But we know that we talked a lot about food, but like honestly,
Yeah.
if the world was collapsing tomorrow and you had one last meal, what would that last meal be?
I would have mole con pollo de mi mamá or frijoles con nopales con tortillas de harina that my mom makes.
So you couldn't choose one.
No, either or. Yeah, I couldn't choose one.
I'm
Both of them are really.
surprised you didn't say tacos, actually.
That would be my third.
The third one.
Because I was thinking more of like homey, not necessarily taste,
Yeah.
nostalgia. Because like the last meal, I want to be like, what is the memories that are going to activate in my mind? And how am I gonna feel?
Oh, now I feel like singing the Selena Gomez Ojos Tristes song. Anyway, sidetrack. I know you don't like that
No,
version.
she's butchering like old school music that I love. But I know how that feels because I love Duranguense and you don't like it because they're butchering all songs. So again,
we
to
all
each
have
their
our
own.
things.
Yeah.
I still like it. I know you didn't care about my meal, but I'm still gonna share it. So thank you for not caring.
Okay, what is your favorite
but
meal?
for me, I think that not my favorite meal, but I think that if the world was collapsing tomorrow and that was my last meal, I think I would also go with nostalgia, and I would probably have my mom chicken pozole.
Oh, see.
So 10 out of 10.
Delicious.
She's really good at it. Mom, if you're watching, please make me some pozole.
So chicken pozole.
Anyways, I know that today we're going to be talking about two specific topics. One of them is really around what's going on with the IRS sharing potential information with the Department of Homeland Security. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also be talking about a lot of the news that we've been hearing about continuous operations of ICE. So we'll be talking about those two things that have been happening. So please stay connected through it. Also, you can catch us in Espanol on Facebook if you're watching this later on. So let's just get into the first one. So I know that there's been a lot of fear from the community about, oh my gosh, even though that I am undocumented, I try to do the best that I can. I want to pay taxes. I've already been paying taxes. Now I'm hearing on the news that the IRS is coming to an agreement with the Department of Homeland Security or the DHS to be sharing that information so that they can potentially utilize it to deport people and engage in the mass deportation agenda that this administration has. So, Jose, like, what are some of the things that are coming to your mind when you're hearing this? Is this credible? Is this happening? And what if I am an undocumented person, or maybe I'm a citizen from and my parents are undocumented? What are the things that they should think about or prepare for?
Yes. So first of all, it is credible. It's been multiple reports. It's something that the current president told that he was going to do when he was running for office under Project 2025. So again, if you're thinking about what's going to happen in this administration, all you have to do is read Project 2025, and that's a blueprint. He's basically following everything that he said. Second is that, so the ITIN numbers and the way that people who are undocumented don't have legal status pay taxes is to ITIN numbers. And what the data shows is about undocumented people nationwide pay about $100 billion in federal taxes. Again, that's more taxes than most billionaires combined, I think.
And just for a notable mention, even though that undocumented people pay taxes, they don't qualify for public benefits. They don't qualify for a lot of the services like Social Security number, even when you're paying into taxes.
Yeah, so in our eyes, what it would hurt, it would be one of the narrative pieces, that one of the things that we typically say to folks who are saying like, oh, why are you guys here? Why are we supporting undocumented folks? It's like, well, people are paying taxes and they're filing. The second piece that typically the tax data is used for is for their children when they're going into college to apply for the FAFSA, financial aid, and they're able to get a Pell Grant or get student loans. But also a lot of scholarships required it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people that I know who are really have 4.0s, meet all the criteria to get, for example, at ASU, the Obama scholarship, which is $40,000 a year, can't complete it because their parents didn't file taxes because of the fear that exists in the community. Also, Arizona is 50, we're second to last place in terms of FAFSA completion, just ahead of Alaska. Part of it is our majority of our student population who are high school seniors are of Latino heritage. And again, in Arizona, if you're Latino, it's high chance that you're going to live in a mixed state assembly and be impacted negative by this.
Mm-hmm. So Thank you for giving us that kind of big context. Now let's get into some of like nuts and bolts. Like if I am an impacted person by this, if I am questioning like, oh my gosh, I don't have papers, or oh my gosh, my mom doesn't have papers, but I want to apply for FAFSA because I'm a citizen. Like, should we file taxes? The deadline is coming up pretty soon since we're already in April. So, what are some maybe questions or things that they should consider?
Well, first, always check with your attorney, immigration attorney. You haven't done so, do a legal screening. Make sure to actually get some legal framework. How's that going to impact you? I know that some pros are telling the folks, tax professionals are saying like, apply for an extension. We don't know if this is going to get stopped, if this is just threats, whatever. We just don't know. The other thing is for us to know is like, the IRS has your last, for example, 10 years of tax returns. They have all the addresses. So if you're not going to move where you filed the previous years, they still already know where you live. It's similar to the information that ICE already has for DACA recipients. They already have all of our information. So it's sort of like catch-22. It's like, well, if I don't file for taxes, then I'm going to be seen as, I'm not paying taxes. But then they're also going to be able to have my information to potentially come afterwards.
So I think that there's a couple of things that you should know is that if you have already filed taxes, just a little recap, they already have your data. So again, we are not tax professionals, we're not attorneys, but if they already have your data, you have the same risk whether you file this year or not because they already have your data. Two, if this is the first time maybe you filing for taxes, and not filing for taxes can have real implications, especially if you are thinking of adjusting your immigration status, if things change. So that's why we're encouraging you to do a legal screening. You can go to our website through alientoac.org/resources that you can do a screening with one of our trusted attorneys. We also know that the Mexican consulate provides free consultations there, so making sure that you are doing that. So make sure you're prepared because not filing for taxes can not only impact you if you are undocumented, but it can also impact other potential opportunities, especially when it comes to education for your U.S. citizen children. So I know that this is an impossible choice. We understand how difficult this could be, but we want to make sure that you are aware about what are some of the things that maybe you should be asking either your tax professional or maybe going to an immigration attorney to get that legal screening, because these things are complicated, so it is important that you're getting that support that you need. But that's about it. Anything else that you want to say about the IRS and the DHS component?
Just that is, I don't know other words, that is this really messed up. Is people are working, they're working as they can typically, and they're getting paid less. They don't have the benefits that most people have. They're following the rules as best as they can. They're submitting their taxes, paying taxes, saying like, here, even though I don't qualify for these benefits, I'm still want to contribute. And then you're saying, oh, because you want into the right thing, that's how we're gonna get you. And that's the sad reality where we're at. And I think that this changes. I hope the good people of conscience realize that this is not something that is going to be beneficial for the country long term, let alone the short-term pain and anxiety that it's causing within the immigrant community.
This is going to impact all of us, regardless of immigration status. So this is the time that we link arms, and silent is not an option. So we need to be having these conversations. We need to be calling our legislators. We need to be raising our voices, especially for those allies. Like, this is where we need you more than ever, because there are things that are just not morally right. And if we don't stand up, nobody else will.
Okay.
It's heavy, you all. I feel it in my body. So second segment, Jose, I know that we want to talk about a couple of news. We've been seeing more operations out of ICE that getting a little bit more visibility. In some of it, a trend that we've been seeing is that oftentimes they are wearing the same uniform. At least that's what the news are reporting. Those are the videos that are showing on the credible news sources that we have verified. What should people know? I mean, I know that this is creating a lot of panic, a lot of fear. How should people be, like, should they be going to church? Should they be going to school? Like, what are the things that they should be aware or conscious about this if they have family members who are impacted, or maybe if they are citizens and they're seeing these operations in their neighborhoods? My bad.
Yeah, no, again, that's why it's so important for you to be able to get get screened by an attorney. Make sure that you do a know your rights workshop and understand what are the things you can do and cannot do, what are the things that ICE can do and can't do. Do a deportation defense packet as well, making sure that you have all the paperwork set up. And then be vigilant. ICE is going to ground operations. They're not going to be wearing the traditional uniforms that you see local police. They do camouflage. Again, a lot of times they get tips for individuals and they might be coming to, let's say, pick up Jose, but then they talk to Reina and they're like, oh, we're going to get Reina too as well. So understand that that's how ICE operates. And we're seeing more of these happening as they ramp up in operations. We're in phase one of the administration. As soon as more of the funding that was passed by the Senate and Congress comes in and ICE is able to have more contracts with local police, we're going to see these operations expand and more individuals are going to be caught. So for us, it's important that you are aware, understand that I have people that I'm talking to, the people are afraid of, again, going to church. People are afraid if we're going to send our child. So they're like, can we do online schooling? People are afraid, like, if I'm going to seek medical care. And again, those three things used to be something that, at least growing up, that regardless of immigration status, that was something that was sacred. That at no point in time was an ICE agent going to go and arrest a 6-year-old first grader trying to learn his ABCs. That was not something, or even a high school student who's trying to learn quadratic equations in the mitosis process or mitochondria, something like that.
You can tell he was a math teacher.
Yeah, or like even at churches, there's like specifically sanctuary, there's sort of a Western civilization, a U.S., that this faith connection, that somebody where they're going to practice their faith in what they believe in was a safe place. And regardless of what's going to happen, ICE was not going to come in. That's removed. The Trump administration says we don't care. If somebody needed life-saving treatment, this country was sort of something that at least that it looked upon the beacon, that it was like, you are going to be taken care of. Now it's not the case. So it's scary. I still encourage people to, again, I know that, like, for example, people that I know, because I know a lot of Catholic folks and a little bit older, that for them is they don't go to Sunday Mass. It's like they're losing part of themselves because it's like a ritual, something that they have done, and they'll rather go ahead and attend Mass, even if that means they potentially could risk deportation, because without it, it hurts their mental health.
So I think that right now, during these times, I think it's really important that we stay vigilant, as Jose mentioned, that know that we do have power, we have rights, we have responsibilities, to making sure that if you do have any type of temporary status, or if you are a legal permanent resident, or if you're a citizen, maybe bring your passport, try to have those documentations. Go to our website, alientoac.org/resources, so you can do that family preparation packet. Remember, this is the thing that we want to have it as in our back pocket. Hopefully we never get to use it, but if something like this happens, you are prepared and you are reminded that you are not alone. So even though that these things can be really heavy, can be really stressful, just trying to go to church, trying to go to school, trying to do basic things. And let's remember that we're not alone and that there is a community that has your back. We are coming up to the end. We're going to continue to do this video. So if you have topics that you want us to elaborate or that you want to know more about, make sure you drop them in the comments and share this. If you find this useful, or maybe you're interested in food, make sure that you also follow us. And besides what's going on immigration and education, I know it can be really heavy. So hopefully you find these tools helpful, and we'll catch you until next time. I hope you have a good day.
All right. Take care.